Meanwhile, in the southern hemisphere, Chile is suffering from a so-called mega-drought, with more than half of the country's population facing scarce water resources. Water and the environment are at the core of a new draft constitution, which will be put to a referendum this Sunday. Joe Richards reports.
A pier leading to nowhere, a stranded boat. Snapshots of the longest drought in hundreds of years. Chile has been suffering a mega drought for over a decade now, and by 2019, this lake to the south of Santiago had completely disappeared. Scientists say the water scarcity is not only due to climate change, but also how the resource is managed. The effects of the drought can be seen and felt across the central region of Chile. Now in her 60s, Mirta Gallardo has campaigned for greater access to water since she was a teenager. She lives in a community of farmers several hours north of Santiago. They grow food for themselves and their families. They have no access to drinking water. They rely on the limited rainfall to plant any crops, and yet next to them is a vast avocado farm, highlighting the unequal distribution of the resource.
My children are 20 and 22 years old now. When they were younger, they used to say I was lazy because our land was dry. They said, why didn't I plant crops when next to us it was all green? I felt like a humiliation and discrimination by the state.
Gallardo hopes a new constitution will bring changes about how water is managed in this country. Chileans vote this weekend over whether to approve or reject a new constitution. It is the conclusion of a process that started with nationwide protests in 2019 over an economic model that had led to some of Latin America's highest levels of inequality. At the heart of the new text are environmental rights. Associate Professor Jonathan Barton says Chile's water code dates back to 1981. It treated water as private property that became traded as a commodity.
The new constitution is necessary. There have to be changes, and the fact that the Chilean model from 1981 wasn't copied elsewhere, wasn't regarded as a grand saviour for how to manage water globally, reveals that it had to change.
After 11 years of debate, this year the Senate modified the water code to prioritise human use. But if the new constitution is approved, it would guarantee nature's rights, which in turn will generate a wider debate.
Water is central to the country's economy. The uses of that resource must be discussed to consider how the state prioritises the supply to the population without negatively affecting the economy.
The outcome of Sunday's referendum is still uncertain, but in the meantime, the country's capital city is preparing to ration water in the coming summer months as the drought continues. Joel Richards for CGTN in Santiago.